Hello everyone and welcome to Helix Cloud Games. My name is Richie and this isn't the Sounds of Stadia podcast. This is CloudQuest, a cloud gaming show where we take a deep dive into one particular topic. This week we're talking about Stadia fucking up the refunds. And joining me in this quest...
Don't put it lightly.
Sorry. And joining me in this quest is none other than Mr. Chris.
Hey gamers, hope you're all good out there.
But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon for notifications when all of our great shows go live, such as Talk to PS, where we break down all the PlayStation news happening in the clouds every single Tuesday. XPass, our Xbox Cloud Gaming podcast, when I don't punch my microphone, happening on our Monday in the slot formerly took up by Sounds of Stadia, also available podcasts, our first looks and live streams. So, Chris, I think, first of all, have you had a refund yet?
I think, first of all, we should, but in case anyone stumbles across this video, seeing the thumbnail and going, oh, it's another Stadia video and stuff, we should clarify, if anyone is new to the channel, we covered Google Stadia for 160 weeks consecutively, bringing you all the news rounded up. We're coming back to it on this episode of CloudQuest, our cloud gaming show, because it's bubbled up to the surface again. It's in the news. There's journalists covering it out there, and more importantly, there's a lot of you, the old community gamers out there, who are a bit frustrated right now. So we thought we'd come back to talk about it.
We did promise when we ended Sounds of Stadia that we'd keep an eye on Stadia and we'd do like maybe a CloudQuest here and there if there was big news to talk about.
Absolutely. And we're definitely well positioned to be discussing this because we ourselves are expecting a refund in the hundreds to thousands potentially.
Yeah. Definitely free figure refund, potentially even four figure, depending how it all adds up.
Well, that's it.
But
how does it add up? Because apparently it's not adding up for everyone out there. So
yeah.
So I guess where do you want to start? Just with I guess they announced, didn't they, this week? They came out and specifically said like they're rolling out.
Yeah, they're rolling from the. I think it was from the 9th of November. They're rolling out. In fact, reading from this Google blog, starting November the 9th, Stadia will attempt to automatically process refunds for all purchases of games, add-on content, and subscription fees other than Stadia Pro made through the Stadia Store. We ask for your patience as we work for each transaction, etc., etc. We still expect the majority of refunds to be processed by the 18th of January.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. So starting November the 9th, people should have started receiving refunds. At the time of recording, it's currently the 12th of November. I've only seen people in the United States receive refunds. So what I want people to do is, if in the comments below, let us know if you've had a refund and where in the world you are.
Where in the world?
So there's a bit of controversy going on with these refunds though, Chris.
Yes, there is, and I think we all kind of had that feeling this wouldn't go smoothly, just based on the history of our 3 years spent with this dying platform, unfortunately. And to no surprise, there's a couple of interesting scenarios came out. And again, it's almost, as much as I begrudge not getting my refund the same time as everybody else, if it helps them iron out these, I'm more than happy for our friends stateside to kind of beta test these refunds for us, because there has been a few little kind of tidbits that have came off the back of it. We should point out as well, it doesn't appear as though hardware refunds are going through yet. So as you said, at the time of recording, it seems to be software only, and they're working their way through the refunds. And we've pulled out a couple of tweets from people in the community who've kept track of these things, kept track of how much they've got. Some people have had most of the refunds, some people haven't had all of them. So I'm just trying to think, like, I think what we should probably address, actually, first of all, is this isn't an individual person going through your purchase history and refunding them one by one. This will be an algorithm of some sort that will be just shipped out to refund these things.
It's an automated service. They straight up say we will attempt to automatically refund each transaction.
Yeah.
So this is a transaction by transaction automated refund.
100%. But
Or
I
at
do
least
think a
that's
lot
what
of
it's meant
people,
to be.
yeah, a lot of people do. I think out there, I think there's some person in a little room with like a ticker tape thing going,
Tallying it up and then
crunching
sending
numbers.
you a check for the post. That's
Yeah,
not
there's like
how
this
it's going
big
to be.
long piece of receipt paper that's like 12 miles long, like coming through out the machine, going, right, we'll get to it. But no, that's not how it works. It's obviously all automated, so naturally things will go wrong. And I guess we're here to have a little chuckle about them and go, why, oh why?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start, Richie?
Well,
regarding credits?
I'll read from the FAQ because I did publish an FAQ. So under the question, how will my Stadia store refunds be processed? So it's an important thing. Everyone wants to know, how am I going? We know we're going to get a refund. How am I going to receive it? So the answer is, starting November the 9th, 2022, we will attempt to automatically refund each transaction to the form of payment used to make the purchase. Keywords there for something we're going to get onto. If we are unable to issue your refund to the original form of payment, we will email you at the Google account used to make the purchase. The email will include instructions how to set up an alternate refund method. Nice and simple. Basically, automated back to where however you used to pay it. If that fails, we'll hit you up.
Yeah.
Seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, again, yeah, absolutely. If the method you paid, that's how we'll get it back to you. If that doesn't exist anymore, so I've seen a few people across social media recommending that you cancel your Google account. Personally, that's too much faff for me. I don't want to be cancelling my Google account and all the other things that's connected to.
It also has no bearing on it. Stadia will attempt to refund it to your Google account.
Yeah, they will in first instance. So don't go cancelling your Google accounts out there, folks. It's just not worth the hassle.
You genuinely will be creating more hassle for yourself because you also then Google do not have a contact information for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
So,
they didn't contact me. How would they? I know we believe these companies know every little detail about our lives, but
the individuals
don't expect
working
a
there
telegram.
do not. They're deep in their databases. Yes, there is that info, but it's all packaged up with lots of other stuff. It's
absolutely, and we don't know if data protection stops that. Like, they might have access to other contact methods, but they're not allowed to access it due to data protection. So, like, a different arm of Alphabet or Google that might have your alternate telephone number, the Stadia team might not have access to that information without your permission. So, yeah, just don't cancel your Google account, folks.
Yeah, so the reason we'll focus on the Google account, I think we should address the first point of controversy that I want to talk about.
Okay.
We've had a few people that I've seen online, some creators that we've worked with in the past, and I've seen a lot of people actually on the Facebook groups who I'm a bit more skeptical about nowadays since Google dropped, because there's a lot of trolling going on around there at the moment. But some people have had pretty much their entire balance credit refunded to as Google Play points or Google Pay credit.
Yeah.
That, for me, is completely in breach of the statement I just read out.
In what way?
Well, we will attempt to automatically refund each transaction to the form of payment used.
Mm-hmm.
So some people saying I've used credit cards and debit cards or PayPal, and now I'm getting, in some cases, $1,000 back as Play credit.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what they said that should happen.
Yeah, so that's obviously an issue at first, because there's a few things that I'm wary of. Is you and me have been doing the Google Opinion Rewards for quite some time.
Yeah.
Well, actually, since the beginning, and I've made purchases that are maybe like 90 or more percent cash from my debit card, but then that 10% might be £9, £8 of Google credit, Google points. It's accumulated. So I'm curious, do I get £8 worth of points back and then the £40 worth of actual debit card payment separately, or do they bundle it into one and go, oh, you've used Play points here, here's the full $59.99 game purchase in points?
What, for me, the way it should work is it should come back in the ratio as how you paid it to where you paid it. Absolutely. That's how I read their statement. Their statement is very clear on the matter. So if you've used any method of payment, that is what it should be refunding to. So if you've bought a game for £50 using play credit, I don't think you can complain that you get £50 of play credit back.
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
fair. But what I really don't like, and I think is, considering we're talking about Stadia's death and it being quite anti-consumer and the way everything was handled, Google pretty much going, oh, you bought that with a debit card, we're just going to give you play credit, because that locks you into giving Google more money.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
kind
a
of
refund in my opinion at that point.
Yeah, it's almost like stock when you go back and you don't have a receipt, so they give you store credit instead. And it's like, well, that's great if I intend to purchase something from this particular store,
but that's if
at
you
the same
go
time,
back to return something. This is Google going to your house saying you can't have that anymore.
Well, that's it. Yeah, if you go back to
Buy
the shop,
something else from us.
if you don't have your receipt, that's your fault. But in this scenario, Google closed down their entire platform and offered refunds. So, quite frankly, offer me a refund in a method which suits me as the consumer. That would be the best way if they just messaged everyone and said, how would you like your refund? Gift card, cash, not cash.
I'm sure
when I say cash, I mean like bank transfer.
I'm sure there's some smart people at Google who could do an algorithm, go all the Stadia account, just go through the account history, top it up, and go send an automated email going, here is the balance that we calculated. If you've got any issues, contact us here. If not, click this link to start processing it.
Yeah. It gets down to that funny kind of like meta game of what points mean and then what Google credit means. And I think the easiest thing for them to do would have just been like, why don't we just tally the total amount spent to the pound or to the dollar to the euro and just go, let's give them that back. Like, even if I spent £8 worth of Google points, according to Google, it still has £8 like for like monetary value.
Yeah.
So for all the millions this refund's going to cost them, is it really that much more skin off the back to just go, that £4.20 Google points credit they used, just give them it in cold hard cash?
The thing for me though is, again, if you've paid with Google Store credits, that's fine. I don't mind that as a refund. It's when you've paid using other like actual useful money.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'd actually earlier today I donated £20 through like super chats or whatever they're called to Helix Cloud Games.
Oh, thank you.
Because I have absolutely no other use for Google Play credits. None.
Shout out.
So I was like, I've got
Helix
20
Hero.
quid. I've got 20 quid there. I don't have anything now. Stadia's gone. I don't have anything to do with it. So I figured out I might as well give it to my actual business. Give it to Helix Cloud Games.
Could get yourself some Marvel Snap premium points there, Richie.
I don't game, or I don't on my phone. I don't buy any in-app transactions. I actually had to look through on my Google Store, and there's nothing for like 6-7 years since I've bought anything in-app. Like, I just don't do it. So that money, apart from the one-off maybe YouTube film I watch on YouTube, which is even rare, to be honest. It's like maybe 3 films I've watched on YouTube.
Yeah,
in the last,
the movie store
4 years. So it's like that money's just not it's just not a useful format to me.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I've seen people mention is that you can use your Google credit to purchase things on the Google hardware store. So if you get a refund of $200-300 or whatever, you can head over and treat yourself to maybe like a Pixel 7 or a Pixel Watch or some Pixel Buds Pro using your Play points.
But for me, it's the principle, because then they're tying you into buying more Google products.
So that's it. And I've seen people go, just buy a phone and sell it. And it's like, but that's not the point. I shouldn't have to go through multiple hoops just to get my money back at all. Like, it's great. If you want a Google Pixel, hey ho, it's a free phone essentially. But I'm sure a lot of people out there, viewers and listeners, they're that burnt by this scenario that they don't want anything else to do with Google.
Well, yeah, it's for me. I'm going to keep reiterating this for the entire show, but if you've paid in Google Store credits and that's how you get your refund, I don't see an issue with that personally. It's when you've used other purchase methods, that's where I think it's the controversy comes in, and that's where it comes down to consumers, because like, anyway, there's other actual knock-on effects to this, because Google Play points, which is that weird point system where I think I'm currently a gold, and I really don't fully understand it or the purpose. So
it's
once a week I press the button and goes, here's some points.
Reclaim this by Friday, otherwise you won't get your 5 coins or whatever. It's essentially they've gamified their own app store. So every time you buy something through the app store, or you maybe buy a season pass in game, or you do buy like a Marvel Snap premium pass or some Pokemon Go Pokeballs or something like that, you will get like a monetary reward on a coin-based system, which eventually can be traded in for actual credit. So what I do is I accrue 100 over the course of a week or a month or something, and then I exchange that for £1 usually. It's 100 points to £1 worth of credit, which inevitably I then built up and purchased Stadia games with.
Same. I was doing that.
So it sounds like the refund problem for that is quite large for some people, because not only when you go through the refund, they take the points back off you as well.
Yeah, I've seen some people are like negative 1,000 points and stuff. Like,
absolutely, which is just one of those. Obviously, it's a problem that's happened because of the automation. Like, naturally, if you buy something, like if I bought something right now, like a Marvel Snap Premium Pass, $8.99, I would get, 89 points, presumably, unless there's kind of like a double promotion or something. But then if I refunded that pack back 10 minutes later, naturally, they would take the 89 points back off of me. That's what's happened en masse for some people out there. And yeah, I've seen some things over on Twitter where it's just like, my word, like minus 1,200 or something, which means it's going to take you a lifetime to get back into to net zero for that.
So it basically it entirely breaks that experience. However, I have seen the Stadia Twitter account responding to people who've mentioned this. It's absolutely a known bug. They are working on fixing it. It could be fixed by the time of recording. Yeah,
absolutely.
But I think it bears mentioning. There was another point that bears mentioning. Oh yeah, the Google Play balance usually has a timer on it. I've seen some people like having like, I've got £500 of Google Play balance, $500 of Google Play balance, which expires in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so usually when you get the Google Play credit is it's via the points. They have like a 12-month expiration date. So we'll have had that. Whenever you do the opinion rewards points, you get 1 year to use them, so you can't just stack them. But yeah, some people, I guess, based on when they spent the original purchase. So if you and me bought a game last Christmas, and then we've got our points, they would be due to expire this Christmas, which at the time of recording, that gives you about a month to basically spend your balance, which, as you said, for some people, it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of refund, which they've now got either a few weeks, or expires within a year to use, which is then, again, it's forcing people into making decisions based on either a time limit or an ecosystem limit where they can't spend their money outside of Google. So it's almost like goes back to just, is it an actual refund if I can't spend it outside of your ecosystem, or are you just giving me store credit, in essence?
I think it's store credit. Now, the issue for me is going back to how the refunding out. First of all, it straight up breaks what they said they would do. They said they would refund each transaction to the form of payment used to make the purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got... In fact, because that is the statement, it's entirely possible there is, in some cases, they may be breaking the law. Obviously, that might differ from country to country.
Absolutely.
But this is meant to be a move, in my opinion, that Google are using to kind of rehabilitate their reputation a bit. So going, okay, guys, we're sorry taking this away. We're going to be good guys. We're going to give you your money back. Mm-hmm. But then you're locking people into, and you're not doing how you say you're going to do. I think a lot of this is probably bugs that need to be worked out.
Yep.
But it's just shoddy, to be honest.
It's not a good look, is it?
No.
It's and obviously the mileage will vary from person to person. I do think for you and me, maybe for the most part, I think most of our purchases, thankfully, were made just with debit card. Like, I don't know about you. I don't use any like alternate. I don't use PayPal, things like that. I don't go out and buy gift cards to get promotions. I just straight up just go on and go, pay through debit card. So I think bar the Google points rewards, that knocked a few quid off games here and there. I don't think there's that many purchases I made that weren't just outright purchased. Yeah,
most for the ones with Google credit that tend to be an odd off indie game here or there. No major purchases. For most of mine went on credit card, not debit card, which means I'm just going to have a huge balance on the credit card for a while.
Yeah, it's an odd one. So the worst kind of example I've seen is Ace, who used to host the Cloud Gaming Extreme Cloud Gaming podcast over on that channel. Go check those guys out. And he put a screenshot up basically, and I'll read his tweet. All right, this is disgusting, Google. You guys can do better than this. Not only do you refund my money back on Google Play credit, but you give me 2 weeks time span to spend $1,700 on the Google Play Store. Let me go spend that money buying skins on a mobile game. So Ace has literally $1,723,000 on his Google Play balance. Now, I don't believe all these, as he said in his tweet, like, why is this all Google Play balance? It should have gone back to his bank card.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether this is just one instance or...
I've now seen actually a couple of creators. I think Adam at Original Penguin has actually posted a spreadsheet breaking down where he bit what he used to pay things because of these sort of stories emerging.
I mean, I wrote all mine out on paper when the news first revealed, just because I thought, I want a rough idea of how much I'm going to expect. And there is part of me now which I think I'm expecting maybe about a 10% gap, which I'm not going to get back. I don't know about you, but I've kind of prepared myself to find out that if the random points purchase of Tomb Raider for $3.99 or whatever I paid for it was like, just doesn't get back to me somehow, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But at the same time, I totally get where people are coming from who spent probably way more than us. There was some much more diehard people who've put literally thousands into this company, and now they could be shortchanged, or at least funneled into a way where they're restricted into their refund. Because I think a lot of people out there were thinking, hey, get me these before Christmas and I can buy the kids some better presents, I can treat myself to a gift, I can get myself an expensive VR headset. And now they're like, oh, well, if it's all in play points or half of it's in play points, I'm kind of a bit screwed.
I know, I sat down and I thought, I sat down, same as you, I calculated approximately how much I was going to like get back, and then okay, and then you start thinking about how I want to spend that money.
Yeah, you're in for a windfall.
The majority of mine is going onto a credit card anyway, so it's not like it's not going on a debit card. So this is not cash I can just like withdraw from the bank. It's like, well, as I said to you before during our celebration stream, my intention is to this was money I spent on my hobby. It's money I didn't expect to ever see back. I'm going to spend it on my hobbies. Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah.
One of the points I kind of wanted to touch on then. So aside from obviously, you'd like to think they're going to fix this. They've probably been caught a bit blindsided by this, thinking no one for some reason thought about the play point refund, the points. I do think if you're in like minus a few hundred play points, they'll resolve that issue for you. I can't imagine they're just going to let customers out there be in like negative 1,000 for the next several years.
I feel really sorry for whoever made this fuck up, especially with the refunding to the play points, because if I'm that guy's boss, he's working all fucking week until it's fixed.
Like,
sorry, guys.
You'd like to think it's just a quick like manual amendment to the account. It can't be something that's not easily amended. We say that, of course.
Oh, it's good. You got banks and stuff to deal with as part of it.
No, the play points. Sorry, I'm just on about the Google. Points, like, if you're in minus 1,000 whatever actual like play points, not credit, play points.
Undo the refund. Reprocess it properly.
Yeah, go into the account and just in my mind, I'm just like, Google employees have access to this like behind the scenes system where they just go delete, type the new amount in, set it to 0, set it to plus.
I think there's more involved than that, but yeah.
I'm sure there is, but yeah, it should be straightforward. One of the interesting points that I noticed is people getting refunds for Ubisoft Plus.
Yes, it does actually say, when I find it, it does mention somewhere in the FAQ that subscription services other than Stadia Pro. Oh, yeah, here we go. Stadia will attempt to automatically process refunds for all purchase of games, add-on content, and subscription fees other than Stadia Pro. So if you've bought Ubisoft Plus through Google Stadia, you should get that as a refund.
Absolutely. Which
now I can't remember whether I did or not. So I bought it through the actual web store. I've had Ubisoft Plus several times, so probably a bit of both.
I think I did mine through the web store and then just linked it to my Stadia account. But either way, that is a surprising one because they did come out early doors and say you won't be refunded. So reading from the FAQ again, are you refunding my Stadia Pro subscription? Answer, we will not be refunding charges for Stadia Pro subscribers that were issued prior to September 29th. Players who held an active Stadia Pro subscription as of September will not be charged for access to their Pro library or any other subscription entitlements during the shutdown period. Now, that was fair enough. I think everyone was, knowing they were getting their money back for hardware and software, I think letting the Pro subscription go would have been fairly an okay thing because we would have been due, 3 years worth of £10 a month? So that would have added a nice little sweet chunk of money on the top of everything. But you know what? I get it. It's a subscription service. It's like if Netflix went under, I wouldn't expect to get my Netflix money back at all. Ubisoft Plus, though, is a surprise. I very much doubt, I'm not expecting anything. So I had a promotion for, I have Stadia Pro free through till back end of, I think actually January was supposed to be my first actual payment in over a year because I got 2 back-to-back promotions. I guess I'm just getting nothing for those 3 months, but again, I'm not expecting to get anything.
Yeah,
But it does make you wonder. We got no pro games this month, Richie, for November. The first time in Stadia's existence we didn't get any pro games in November.
Oh, we didn't get any October either.
I thought we had like Hot Wheels and stuff for October.
Was that
September?
Was that October? It might have been September.
Either way,
anyway,
shocking service.
Because one last thing I want to cover before we round up is I have seen a few people saying like, I've known people who've got refunds, haven't had any emails and stuff. So I just want to reading through from their FAQ to kind of clarify that. So there's two statements I want to read. First is customers who've made 20 or fewer purchases on the Stadia store will receive one email for each transaction made, including separate emails for each reoccurrence of any eligible recurring subscriptions. So if you made less than 20, you'll get up to potentially 20 emails. The other one is customers who've made 21 or more purchases on the Stadia store will receive one email summarising all the refund attempts. If necessary, this email will provide instructions on additional steps to help us complete your refund. So you should expect at least one email. Yeah.
I think that's what's kind of got everyone a little bit confused because they have started rolling it out in America only, or United States only. Naturally, you look on social media and you've got everyone under the sun going, have you got yours yet? I've got mine yet. There's some trolls out there who are kind of obviously post some fake ones and stuff, and you've got people saying the refund with this. What I would just say is just patience right now. You have to let them work the system, obviously. If January 18th comes around, you've not had it back yet, then maybe reach out to them. They actually explicitly said in this week's blog post, the post to say, do not contact customer services about these refunds because they will not be able to help you because it's all going through a system of automation right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I know a lot of people might be annoyed by that and want to know the dates and stuff, but I think on the dates they've been clear.
Yeah.
Starting the 9th of November, they expect the majority of refunds to be processed by the 18th of January.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to say if until the 18th of January comes and goes, just be patient.
Just sit tight, yeah. And I
know it sucks.
Yeah, it's like being at Christmas and watching all your siblings open their presents and you have to wait for your turn to come round. You're like, come on, I want to go. I want to get involved in this. And I get a lot of people have hundreds of pounds sitting on it, and it would be really helpful getting them this side of Christmas, but they don't owe you anything. They literally don't owe us anything. Like realistically, they could have just shut up shop and we would have all been left out in the cold.
They would have been 100%.
The fact that we're getting anything, I think we need to take some solace in that. What I did notice reading through the FAQ though, Richie, any poor bugger who bought the claw, they're not refunding the claw, which I don't actually think to this day was available outside of the United States for purchasing through the Google store. The power support claw.
To be honest, that's a bit crappy because they did say all hardware.
Does hardware need to have like electrical running through it to be classed as hardware?
No, it just has to be physical. It's
items.
a physical item that is designed for Stadia.
I mean, we never got it. We never got it over here anyway. So no one Europe side.
I think claw style grips are terrible anyway.
Yeah, it is interesting to see how these credits will go through kind of European law and British law because I think we've seen it's been highlighted quite a lot actually. Looking at the Activision Blizzard acquisition, it ain't as easy to push things through multiple legal systems across multiple countries, and I do wonder how these split credits, split refunds, split anything that they're trying to do, if that would fly over here as much as it might over stateside.
Well, I think if they're true to what they said, and then we assume that the whole people just getting everything back as Play Store credits is just a cock-up, that they will attempt to refund each transaction to the form of payment, or a transaction-by-transaction refund to how it was paid. And then if that doesn't go through, then they contact you. I don't think in any country that would be problematic. It's when they are trying to refund to different forms of purchases, especially one that they actually have, straight up on. So Play Store credits can only be used for services or on things that Google take a cut on. So, for example, as I mentioned earlier, I spent 20 quid of Play Store credits just thanking Helix Cloud Games for their awesome podcasts, such as this one. Google will take a cut of that money.
So what you're saying, Richie, is anyone out there who's got Play Store credit that don't want to use?
Yeah, give it us if you want to.
Click join down below, become a Helix Hero from as little as 99p. I digress, of course. I guess
access to the show.
Yeah, but it's nice to be back talking Stadia, Richie. It's been a while.
Yep.
Obviously, we should point out at the time the show goes live, it's the 3rd birthday tomorrow, Saturday the 19th. So what better way to celebrate than coming on here and complaining about their piss-poor refund opportunities?
For the last time, still didn't buy me my fucking cake.
They didn't buy her a cake on your birthday. No, they did promise you on Twitter.
My birthday was yesterday. And for 3 years, no cake.
You just confused the shit out of me there when you said my birthday was yesterday. And I was like, did I not say happy birthday to you yesterday? But you mean in the future when the show goes live. Yeah. Right. I was thinking, what a terrible friend I am. And no one in our friend group said happy birthday.
If you remember, it's my birthday on Thursday.
At the time.
Send me a cake during the live stream.
While we're here, Richie, I know we're already kind of hitting our time max for this show in particular. Stadia news, just quickly, a couple of points while we're here. Didn't get the Resident Evil DLC, which is a bit shit. So third person, hyped about that. Didn't get to play it, don't get to play it without having to buy Resident Evil Village all over again. I ain't got my refund yet, so I don't want to go and buy a game outright to play on another platform. A bit disappointing. I kind of knew it was coming, but I would have thought that Capcom might have held up their end of the deal for their customers and bringing, because you'd imagine it was probably 99% finished. Stadia only closed down a month or so ago.
It might be a case of maybe they can't.
Might have been certification, yeah.
Yeah, they might not be able to go for certification. They might not physically be able to port it onto the platform anymore. That's
true. I guess for you, have you played Stadia at all since the announcement?
No. The only thing I was playing at the time of the announcement on Stadia was FIFA, but now I've got that I've got the FIFA 23 now on Xbox. So Stadia is unfortunately basically redundant. There's a few games I never got around to playing that, but I've got I've got Game Pass and I've got God of War. It's like I have so much to play now that the appeal to going back to Stadia just isn't really there anymore.
Yeah, I get it. It's almost as though you play where the games are, which, ironically enough, we said that for 160 weeks, is if you don't get the games, you don't get the gamers, and your business collapses. One of the things I think I just do want to touch on before we fully wrap up. Oh, that's nice. Nice new Xbox controller there. Before we do wrap up fully, it's been 777 days since Mafia Definitive Edition launched on on other platforms. I just like the number 777. 25th of September 2020, Mafia Definitive Edition launched on PlayStation and Xbox. It's still not on Stadia. Hangar 13, take 2K, you promised me. And not only that, you teased me 912 days ago that it would be coming. You've got very little time left to get this game out. Not that anyone can buy it anymore, but I'm just going to keep this counter going.
Since we're kind of going through like the greatest hits of Sounds of Stadia, would you like to introduce us to the
super sexy special Stadia story segment, aka
the news?
Right.
Did you ever actually say that in Sounds of Stadia?
I may have done once, but I was actually quite impressed. I recalled it.
Yeah, I threw that
immediately.
I just threw that to you. Like,
I mean, I did hear it like 150 plus times. So it's good to be back. I definitely think we might even do something for the birthday if we're free. Just jump on for an hour or two and see how the old girl's holding up. Because I know some people out there they've said the experiences have been dwindling on some of them. The stability, some of the patch updates aren't coming through the games. Cyberpunk 2077 didn't get its patch update, the last big one that just dropped last week. Even though they did say in their tweet, and Stadia, and then everyone was like, Stadia, question mark? Are you still supporting it? And then the patch never actually came through, so must have copied and pasted it or mistweeted it or something like that. But it's a sinking ship, unfortunately, and the money is pouring out of the vessel, albeit in the wrong form of Google points and credit, and not just straight into your bank account, which we were all hoping for. But you know what? The rollout's coming. Do you reckon we'll get them before Christmas? You holding out hope for that?
No. It seemed, because they seem to be focusing on the US first, it seems to be going region by region. Mm-hmm. And they've kind of, as in classic Stadia fashion, stumbled out the gate. I think they'll probably take a bit of time to get this right. I'd rather them take the time to get it right and not have that money in time for Christmas than have potentially £1,000 worth of Play Store credits.
I want Phil Harrison to show up at my door and personally count out my refund in pennies.
I want Phil Harrison to turn up at my door and give me my bloody cake that they promised me.
You and that cake, man. We'll get you a cake, don't worry. What about hardware refunds then? Do you think they're going to follow suit shortly after. Like, that must be an easy one to process, because it should just be straight up, there's your receipt in the Google store.com.co.uk, refund it.
Yeah,
because you can't, again, I've looked on the website, you can't buy it with play points. When you get the checkout, there's no option in the UK, at least, to spend play points. So as far as I'm concerned, all my Chromecasts bundles and the controller and my Ultras and my Founders Edition, give me that straight back. That was made up payment through a bank card, which I think is still in date.
Yeah, I do think, like, actually, although it is all mainly automated, I think an undertaking of refunds of this magnitude is... I want to say unprecedented, because I can't think of another case where an entire service went away and they just went, okay, guys, every single one of you can have most of your money back. Yeah. But yeah, I think it'll get sorted. Hopefully next time we talk about Stadia, be a bit more positive.
What they should do, Richie, is bring in industry veterans from the financial sector, make a team of exclusive people to make dedicated refunds for Stadia players, and then they'll shutter it after 1 month.
Yeah, sounds about right. But that's all we have time for this week. If you liked the video, hit that like button and consider becoming a member for as little as 99p. We can get early access to this very show. If you've got an idea for a topic you want us to discuss, let us know in the comments below of this video or on our Discord server. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Richie.
Play points are accepted. I've been Chris.
Quest completed.